Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Today, I have Shanto with me, and we will discuss how to obtain a P license and basically what are the various procedures and advantages of getting a P. So, as we all know, Shanto is working as a professional engineer in United States, and he has been in United States for more than 7 to 8 years. So, he started as a graduate student, and then gradually, after completing his master's, he obtained his license. So we are going to go through his journey and we're going to see how the P is obtained. So Shanto, welcome to today's session.
Thank you. So,
So Shanto, let's go to the first question and let's talk about how important is a P license, especially in United States. So can you just tell us briefly about how important that is?
yeah, thank you, Soham, for allowing this discussion. The importance of the EP has a lot of importance in United States for an engineer. The reason being, like when you grow in your career, the P is like an absolute must. Otherwise, your career starts to stagnate after a certain point of time. Like for a professional engineer, he has to stamp drawings, talk to clients. So for all that purposes, he needs a PE license. So that is one of the very important reasons that engineers, especially in United States, do need a PE license. Apart from that, uh, you can see the distinct benefit even in your pay scale. Like after you get your PE, let's say within 2 years, you will see a distinct raise in your pay scale, and you will get more promotions. Your managers will have more trust and faith in your abilities. So overall, it's a must. I would say it's a must for engineers in the United States, the PE license.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So basically, so what I understand is it's basically something that helps you work independently, right? So if you don't have a P, you're always working on somebody's wings, right? Somebody is taking the responsibility for your work. And as
Right.
you start working independently, of course, you get those benefits, and that reflects in your salary scale. So that's very well explained. So
Right.
let's go into the basic requirements of a PE. So someone graduated. So what are the basic requirements that someone needs to have to get a professional engineer license in US? If you can tell us
Right.
briefly about it.
Sure. Great question. So one of the basic requirement is he or she needs to have a 4 year engineering degree, which is generally in United States Abbott accredited degree. Basically, that's basically a bachelor's in civil engineering or whatever is the engineering he or she is pursuing. So that is the first requirement, and then he has to pass the FE exam, which is a fundamentals of engineering exam. So that is an exam which he has to pass, which is a 6 hour exam. So that is the first exam that he or she needs to pass. And then that person needs to have an experience in design for 4 years, like under
Okay.
somebody, under a professional engineer, or some under somebody, he or she needs to have a 4 year experience. But in there are some states where it can be 3 years also. Like first I was working in Michigan. I think Michigan has that 3 year. You don't need to work for 4 years. If you have a master's, then you can work for 3 years. So that also holds true. Like I mean, no, I think no. Sorry, yeah, Michigan also has the same 4 year rule, but the thing is, if you have a master's, instead of 4 years, you can take 1 year from the master, and it holds true for all the states. But the only thing which was applicable for Michigan is you can even write if in the PE exam before you have completed your 4 year experience. You can just write it and clear it, which is the next exam. So as I was saying, first you need to have your engineering degree, then you need to clear your FE exam, then you need to have a 4 year experience, and then you need to give the main exam, which is the PE exam, which is a professional engineering exam. So this exam is 8 hour long exam. So
Okay.
which consists of like two parts. One is the width. The first 4 hours you have to give width section, which includes all of, let's say I'm talking about civil engineering, which includes all of civil engineering, but it
Okay.
won't go to depth. But let's say you are taking PE for transportation, then there is a next 4 hour exam which will only test 4 hours on transportation topics, and it will go into much depth. So that's how it is broken down. And after you complete your, if you pass your PE exam, then you complete all the other requirements, then you are basically a licensed professional engineer.
Okay. Awesome. So basically, just to summarize, you need an uh, undergrad from an accredited institution, and then you need 4 years of additional experience. And if you have done a master's, then you
Before
need
that, you have to clear one more PFE, which I said.
FE exam. Okay, so first you need to clear the FE exam, then 4 years of experience or 3 years, depending whether you have a master's or not. Then you clear the PE exam, and after that, you would be eligible for a license, right?
Right.
Okay,
But
awesome.
one more thing, this is not like in order. It's not like you have to first complete 4 year. Yeah, first you have to complete 4 years of engineering degree. That is like non-negotiable. But after that, it is not like order. Maybe you can work for straight 6 years. There are many people who continuously work for 6, 7 years, and then they want to get their license, PE license. Then they actually appear for FE, and then they do their PE, and then they get their license. So it's not like in order, but that's how it is broken down
Okay,
into.
okay. So it's not in like chronological order, but these are all the steps that needs to be completed before getting a PhD. So just a couple of clarifying questions. You said that the undergrad degree has to be accredited, right? So what if someone moves from outside US and their university is not accredited in US? So like, what are the requirements for those people?
So what I did is like the WES, there is some organization WES, so they do uh, they evaluate all your whatever you got, what the marks you got, course you got, they make it equivalent to an US degree, and
Okay,
then they give you the score out of 4, how much you have obtained. So you have to actually validate it through a agency which is like
all right.
trusted here.
Okay,
For me, I did it to WES, but yeah,
okay,
there are
okay.
many such agencies available. You have to do some research.
Okay, so you have to basically verify the education and make sure that those agencies make sure that it's equivalent to a US education. The other
Exactly.
thing, sorry, yeah, the other thing you mentioned is the experience has to be in design. So what if people who are working in project management or people who are working in, let's say, field execution? Like, what are their scopes in getting a PE license?
So this is a very good question that you asked, but it all depends on. Let's say if I am taking a PE in transportation engineering or a PE in structural engineering, so that means that I want to get a license in design only, right? But if I want to get a PE in construction,
Mm-hmm.
then the experience in construction is valid. But it cannot happen that if I want a degree in structure, let's say I want a PE in structure, but I have experience in water resource or transportation, that doesn't count, right? So if you are obtaining a PE in some specific field, you have to get experience in that specific field only. So I
Okay,
talked about a PE in design. That means if you want a PE in transportation engineering, you want to have 4 years of design experience in transportation engineering. But if you want to PE in construction engineering, then you need to have 4 years in construction field, site, those kind of things.
got it. Okay. So your license is restrictive to the field that you're applying, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So thanks for answering the question. So I just have one more clarifying question. So I'm currently in Canada, and in Canada, our licenses are not restricted to a particular field in civil engineering. So someone who has a license in civil engineering uh, can potentially work in any field of engineering, as long as that person themselves is confident enough to stamp that thing, right? So it's upon the engineer basically whether they know that thing and they are willing to take responsibility, they are welcome to do so. But from what I understand, that you're in US, it's very restrictive, right? If you get a PE, it's PE in transportation engineering, right? So like, how does that work? If someone who has a PE in transport wants to work in structures, or if someone, let's say, moves up and now heads engineering division which has all the different streams, so is the person allowed to use their license, or how does that work in US?
So from what I have seen so far, like I haven't seen somebody from a core transportation engineering get stamping any, let's say, structural bridge drawing. But for sure, like let's say somebody has gone risen up the ladder very quick, or eventually they moved up the ladder. Then yes, they can oversee all the departments. They can see oversee transportation, structure, water resource, but they will not individually stamp a water resource drawing or a or a structured drawing for that matter. If they are a transportation engineer, they will still they are still I mean allowed to stamp transportation drawings. Or if somebody from structure goes to the top, let's say becomes a president of the firm, then for sure he can stamp a structured drawing. So that is how it is kind of laid out. But here's a very good point. I never actually thought about it. I mean, the way you said in Canada that somebody from one department can sign, if he is confident, he can sign some other
Right.
drawing also.
Right.
I haven't actually, to be very honest, I've never seen it in USA, and I don't think that is possible in USA also. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
mean, here
100%
also.
sure.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. But I think here also it's kind of the same, but it's that just that the licensing authority doesn't restrict anyone. So as long as someone, so most likely, a structural engineer won't be confident enough to stamp a transportation drawing or a water resource drawing, right? But it's just that the organization doesn't restrict them. So if a person wants to learn and they are very very confident that they can do so, there's no restriction from the licensing board. So that's I think basically what the difference is.
That's a new
So
knowledge for me also.
okay,
Yeah, good
awesome.
one.
So let's move forward and let's talk about the exams that you talked about, right? So you talked about an FE, which is basically fundamentals of engineering, and the PE. So let's if you can give a little bit of you know elaborate a little bit of how the exams are structured basically.
Sure, sure. So the first exam that I said you have to clear is FE. So FE is a 6-hour exam. So let's say I'm talking about FE in civil engineering. So you will expect questions from all civil engineerings in the 6-hour exams, as well as mathematics is also included in FE. Like there are like basic mathematics, all like algebra, calculus, differentiation, those kind of things are also there in FE. Like basic mathematics are there, and you will expect questions from all civil engineering topics, like say water resource, environment, structure, RCC, steel, uh, transportation, so whatever, all the topics that are included, right? So this is
Mhm.
how you have for FE. And then the PE, as I said, it's like 2 hour, it's divided into two sections. Now first is a 4-hour section, which is called the width sections, and the next is a depth section, which is
Okay.
also a 4-hour section. In depth, if you are taking in structure, you will get all questions related to structures, and you will have all the manuals and everything is allowed in the exam. Right now the format has changed and they give it in the computer, all the manuals are there. But in our time, when I took it like maybe 3-4 years back, the exam, I actually carried a suitcase of manuals, like everything was there, like hard books. But right now they all became soft copy and you can refer them in the computer only. So the format has changed a little bit, but the
Okay.
pattern is the same. And the width section, the first 4-hour section is similar to FE only, except mathematics is not there in PE. So
Okay.
whatever you prepared for your FE, the width section is exactly similar to your FE. Which section of PE is exactly similar to FE, only mathematics is not there. And also I think environment is not there in your width section of uh, PE. But the depth section is all about your topics, whichever you like, you are appearing for.
That's very well explained about the differences between the two exams, and from what I understand it's quite a rigorous exam, right? You have to go through all the codes, you have to know where to find the information, right? So that's actually very important in our field, right? So there are a lot of codes and manuals, and the way we have to do the work, we just have to know how and where to find the information. So that's basically what's tested. So that's great. um, from what I understand and from what I've seen is, there are a lot of experienced professional working for many years, very knowledgeable, but I've seen many people struggle in taking the exams, right? And I know you cleared both PE and FE in the first attempt, right? So can you give some suggestion on how a person should approach to clear those examinations in the first go? What are your suggestions?
Yeah, that is a very good question, Som, because I have seen, yes, there are many professionals who are really good at what they do, but somehow they are challenged taking exams. And maybe there are people who have worked a long time in the industry and they have started forgetting all those academic jargons and stuff. But it's because this never comes up in your work. So, and
Right.
suddenly after so many years, if they appear for the exams, it becomes a challenge. So number one suggestion that I have for students, specifically this is specifically for students, don't wait for your FE exam. Don't postpone your FE exam. Right, like the way that time that I gave my FE exam, I was like at my peak in civil engineering knowledge. I completed 4 years of bachelor's. Like at the end, I kind of revised everything and kind of got a grip of the subjects. Then I was doing my masters. After I completed 1 year of my masters, I gave the attempted the FE exam. I
Okay.
still had one more year to go to finish that my masters. And trust me, I kind of attended everything, like all the 100 questions. Like when I came out, I thought that I will get because the reason is because I was at the peak not time at that time, because I remember everything, I revised everything when I went for the exam. But let's say if right now I give the exam, I might have a challenge because I have forgotten some of the stuffs. I have to read it again. I'm not in that zone. So that is my first suggestion, because you don't have to score like 100 out of 100 to pass the exam. You just need to pass the exam. So just give the exam one way while you are still a student, or just have finished the student. That is the if suggestion for students for FE exam. So that is
Okay.
my number one suggestion. And yes, if there are professionals who are working in the field for some time, so they have to come into the zone, because they need to take out some time, because for them FE is the most challenge. I feel personally, I feel if they can prepare very well for FE, they will clear PE also. The
Okay.
reason being, let's say they have understood the concepts very well for all the topics. So once they have understood the concept for all the topics, let's say it took them 4 months of time. They are studying 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hour every day, and it took 4 to 6 months to kind of clear every concept. Even some brush up some concepts and clear some other concepts which were not, they were not very clear. So that took like 4 to 6 months. But once they are through, once they got it, like they got it, uh, whatever the topics are, and they got through FE, then the width section of PE is easy for them, right? Because as I said, the FE exam is similar to the width of the PE, right? So my suggestion is study for 4 to 6 months rigorously for FE, and then sit for FE, and the next month only sit for PE. Don't delay FE and PE too much. The reason is you studied so hard for FE 6 months, and then the next month you sat for PE. Then all your preparation in FE came to the width section of your PE, and the depth section you already know it very well. You are working in the field for 6 years, you 6 7 years, whatever, you know all the manuals and everything. It will be a very easy task for them to clear the depth section, but they will struggle in the width section. So they need to focus in for FE, and take time to understand FE. Take 4 6 months, take that time, but judiciously study that for FE, and then I think PE will be very easy for them. And don't delay PE after you have complete. Let's say you studied for FE, and the next year you are thinking of giving PE. I mean, you have to again read it. You never know. So basically, give it after a month only. So that are my two suggestions for
Awesome.
students and for professionals.
Great, great suggestions, I would say, because as you were saying, when someone is in their student life, they are so much, into studies, and they are in that flow, right? So it's easier for them to basically to give another exam because they're already giving so many exams. And basically, the other point is not to delay, because basically a lot of things are common, right? The width section is basically very similar to if like FE and P are very similar. So why not take the exam once you have already prepared for FE? So yeah, very very good suggestions. So let's move on to the very last question, basically. So so let's talk about what are the benefits and changes in the role, right? So basically, someone is working and then they got a PE license, right? So what are the changes in their role that someone can expect, and the benefits, basically, if you can just conclude in a nutshell of getting a professional engineer license in US.
So we have to be very clear in this. It's not like once you get your PE, immediately you get very difficult projects. It's not like that. You won't even feel the transition.
Okay.
Like, because it's not like suddenly you clear two exams and you are suddenly a very good engineer. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Yes, when you cleared your PE, now your managers and your peers, they see that you have the potential. They will start pushing difficult projects to you. They will start letting you handle bigger projects. It will all be very incremental. And let's say you change your job, you have a PE license now. Now you can demand much more salary than if you don't have a PE license, right? And then you can, let's say you don't want to leave your job, then you can again tell it to your employer, I want to stay here, this company is offering me this money, and you can do the negotiation yourself. You guys are smart. So basically with the P license, the salary will be for sure, you guys, it helps a lot in the salary. Incrementally your projects, you will get better projects, your design skills will be trusted more. And yes, and if you really perform well, it's not that you can only clear exams. Let's say you are also a good engineer, and you then for sure you will get promotions. And it all, because with a PE license there is no cap. Your cap is removed basically. It's now all depend on, let's say, even if you have, let's say you have a lot of capabilities, skills. Let's say you have leadership skills, you have all the skills are there, but there is a cap if you don't clear PE in civil engineering industry. With
Right.
PE, it's like the cap is removed. Now it all depends on you, how, where you want to go. You can be the CEO of the any consulting company. No one will stop you, literally. But it all depends on, are you capable right now? It doesn't come like that, right? In one day, you cannot be that capable.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
that cap is open, basically. That is what I'm trying to say.
Awesome, awesome. Like very well explained. So basically, that opens the platform for you, right? For anyone who gets the professional engineer license, and
Hmm.
that gives confidence in your, to your managers, to employ that this person is capable to handle projects on their own, and gradually, you grow in your career, which kind of caps off if you are not having a license, especially in civil engineering, where it's so important, right? So yeah, great. Thank you so much for all this suggestion. I just remembered that you are actually a professional engineer in two states, right? And I've seen many people holding licenses in multiple states. So can you just briefly say, like, how does that work? Does it include taking exams, or like how does the process work? Can you
So
just
it
give us
is
a
like mostly similar to all the states. It's a good question you asked. Like, but you have to apply. You have to clear the text only once. Let's say
okay?
you clear your FE once. That's done. You have
Hmm.
4 years of experience, and you cleared your PE once. So once those three steps are out of your way, and first you have to get licensed in any one state. So
Okay.
first, let's say I got my first license in Michigan. So I
Hmm.
cleared all those steps and I got my license in Michigan. Then I moved to New Jersey. And after you move to New Jersey, I mean, people can actually research a little bit. There is NCEES. So they have a platform where you can upload all the information, all your experiences, all your verified credentials. You can upload there, and they will do the transmittal. They can just transmit all your informations. They can give to the new state. They can push all the information to the new state, and then there is a little bit procedure. You have to do some paperwork for that new state, but and the new state will get all the information from NCES. They will push over all the informations, and that's how you can get the license in the next state, which is New Jersey, which is I got in New Jersey. So you can do the same process over and over in whichever state you move, and whichever license you need. Just you need to get a license in one state, and after that it's just doing the same thing over and over. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for the information. So basically, you get the license in one state, and then basically you have to fill up some paperwork and transfer, or apply for another license. But basically, using the information that you have, or the credentials that you have already achieved, right?
And
Uh,
then you can do it very easily through NCEES. They have
okay.
a platform. All the
Okay.
people who are applying for FEPE, they know NCES
Then,
because
okay. Okay.
the
They are
NCES
the
conducts the
validator.
exam, but they also does this service too.
Okay, okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Santho, for all this information, and I hope this would be very helpful for all the potential applicants of the license, and all the engineers who are planning to move to US, or who are already in US and kind of getting the information on how to get the license. So again, thank you so much for all the information,
Thank
and
you for asking the relevant questions.
Yeah, no problem. And for the viewers, if you like the content, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to share this video with anyone who might,